Good day, good people. This is your dope black dad back with another episode. This is probably one of my favorite times of the year. Not because it's hot, because one thing about Jacksonville, we definitely got enough heat for everybody. So if you up north and you need some heat, come down here. We got it for you. But because we are in back to school phase, so here in Jacksonville, Duval County, we are in our first week back to school for our students. One thing about me, I have four girls in my house. Three of them, they are in school. But what happens is they are out of my house. They are not out of my refrigerator. I don't have to worry about keeping this house so cool all day. So hopefully I can get some type of break with this JEA bill, get this grocery bill under control because I don't care what anybody says. If you don't have girls, you don't understand this point. These girls can eat. They used to tell you about these boys that greeted, but I'm gonna tell you right now, these girls, these girls can eat, and they've been eating me out of a house and home all summer long. But I love it. But we are back to school this week, so I wanted to just come on and just share a little bit of just some back to school tips, some back to school trades, some back to school things that I always like to focus on as we're getting back to school. And I also want to talk about another big thing that's going on in Jacksonville, which is voting. Yeah, I know we got voting coming up, and I know some people it's a drag to talk about it, but I'm gonna put you all on some things this weekend or today that's gonna help as we get ready to go into voting on next week because I want you to exercise your right to vote because it is very pivotal. Did I just say pivotal? It is very important that you vote, and I'm going to talk about that more. So let's get back to these back to school things. So, me, I am a full time educator. I've been in education for 20 years now in various roles. No, I am not back in the classroom. Nope, I am not in the classroom. But I spent plenty of years in the classroom, but I am never away from education, especially with my kids being in school. I have the ability and I have the pleasure to be active with my kids. I can spend time at their schools if need be. I can be involved in their PTA. I can be involved in SAC. I have a lot of access to my kids' schools, not because of anything like that, but because you know I'm I'm blessed. I'm in a situation where I can, and I do understand that some people are not in those situations. So I feel like it's my job since I do have some of that freedom to be around my kids' school a lot and to be in other schools a lot. I like to share different information and share different insights, and I like to call myself the plug, a lot of educational plug, to give you some tools or just some insights or some things that you might not be aware of. I don't like to hog all of the information to myself. So here we go. I have about 8 tricks of the trade. I have 8 back to school things that I think that as parents and guardians that we should put in our toolkit as we get ready to send our kids back to school or while they are already in back to school from this week. So today is Wednesday. Kids have been back in school since Monday, and we have 2 days left to go. So here we go. Number one, as early as possible, introduce yourself to your child's teacher. Communicate early and as often as possible. I remember when I was teaching in second grade, and one of the older teachers she said to me, she said, Mr. Smothers, some of these parents they drop their kids off to complete strangers. And I was like, what do you mean to complete strangers? We're teachers. And she said there's some parents who never come up to the school and they never meet us. And so they just trusting the system or just trusting that their kids are in good hands with us when they bring us to school. And I thought about that for a moment. That's a lot of responsibility that parents are entrusting us as teachers with, that they feel like whoever my child's teacher is, I should be able to feel comfortable when I send them to that school that they should be taken care of. But I feel like it's my job as a parent and my responsibility as a parent to at least introduce myself to my teacher at least once a year. Now, pump the brakes. I do understand that some people have different work situations that they're not allowed to ever come to their school. No judgment from me. I get it. But I will challenge you to do this. If it's possible for you to email, if it's possible for you to reach out to your child's teacher and say, hey, this is my work schedule. I want to meet you, but I know I can't come. Can I FaceTime you? Or can we do a Zoom call? Or can we do a Teams call? Because I just want to meet you and I want to get a chance to see you face to face or virtual. So I challenge my parents sometimes also to say, okay, I didn't think about doing that. Sometimes we can make excuses or we can make adjustments for those things that we want to do. And again, not at the seat of judgment, I'm at the seat of understanding because I've made those mistakes and I made those assumptions too. So, number one. So, moving on to number two, send some supplies in if you can. Um, we know everybody can't do something, but if you can, send in some supplies. Send in some pencils, send in some wipes, send in some crayons, depending on what it is. If you can't do nothing but order a big old box of pencils and send those big old box of pencils to the school for your classroom, then just do it. Try to send something as much as you can. One thing about Jacksonville, one thing about Jacksonville, we have a lot of churches on every corner, and we have a school supply going on everywhere. So all over the summer, there's plenty of school supply giveaways. So take advantage of those if you can, and try to bring or send in some type of supplies, even if it's just once and for all. Just go ahead. Those supplies that you do send in will go a long way. Just to know that. Number three, as much as possible, try to reinforce whatever those classroom rules, rituals, and routines that your child's teacher has already set, even for the school. Sometimes kids will come to school and the school does so much to put in rituals and routines, but sometimes when they go home, all of those things are washed away and it's almost like nothing ever happened. So I challenge our parents to find out the rituals and routines of the school, even if it's simple things as of not talking back, making sure you're listening, be respectful. I know when I said not talking back, that kind of went across somebody the wrong way. It's okay. It's okay. But the simple things as just respect, that goes a long way. Your child doesn't always have to be the top tier academic performer in the school, but if they at least have a sense of respect for their teacher and for their peers and for themselves, those types of things go a long way. So I challenge us to reinforce the simple things in the school of just being respectful when you are amongst other people. So that's number three. Number four, um, reading every day for 20 to 30 minutes. And it's interesting because I'll talk about Madison. So Madison is my youngest daughter. Madison is not a fan, was not originally a fan of reading. I could blame it on a whole bunch of other stuff, but I can just simply say she got it from me. When I was in first or second grade, I had a bad experience with my ELA teacher or reading teacher at that time, and it caused me to not like to read. Why? Let me tell you what happened. I was someone who I finished my work kind of early, and I just kind of needed something to do. So, would I having direction on what to do when I finished my work early, I would get in trouble. I was just start doing other stuff or bothering students who are not finished their work. And so I would end up getting in trouble, of course. And so every time that I would get in trouble for doing something, my teacher would say, Marcus, go get a book and read. Or you did this, go get a book and read. And so for me, association, reading became a penalty. So anytime that I had to read or anytime I was reading, I associated reading with a penalty. And till 40, where I am now, I still sometimes struggle with reading just for the knowledge of it or reading just for it. Like I have about 4 books right now that I started and I haven't finished them. I struggle with finishing books because that's just something that was embedded in me. I'll just get in there and just do something else. It doesn't entertain me unless I'm reading for something that I know is for to give me some instant gratification from. Then I read it. So back to Madison. Madison would not like to read. She did not care for reading. And big up Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor at Biscayne Elementary School. She still talks about Mr. Taylor. Oh my gosh, she still talks about you, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor told me, he said, Marcus, Mr. Smothers, check this out. He said, does Madison have a book that she likes? I was like, yeah, she got one book that she likes. He was like, let her read it every day. I was like, but why would she just read the same book every day? Me, now the teacher becoming the parent, because just because I'm a teacher don't always mean I'm the best parent. I know everything. So here we go. He said, allow her to read that same book every day and just continue to encourage her and celebrate her for reading. She did read, didn't she? That's what you wanted. It's like, yeah. He said, so let her read the book and then see what happens. So Madison just started reading the book. Every day she would read the same book. She would continue to read this book. But I had to make sure I was noticing that she was reading every day. But then on her own time, she decided that she wanted to read something else. And then it clicked. If I just allow her and give her that space to read text that she's comfortable with, she'll move up when she's ready, because the goal is to allow her to read or to keep her reading and not to force it. I know sometimes kids like to read the comic strip type books, but it's still a good text. They'll grow into it, they'll learn into it, but allow them that space to grow into the text that catches their attention. All right, here we go. We are at that was number 4, reading every day for 20 to 30 minutes. Number 5, go to open house as much as possible. Go to open house. And that gives you another opportunity to meet your child's teacher. And we talked about how important that is early and often. Again, if you cannot, try to set up something, a FaceTime, a Zoom call, some other avenue for you to keep a line of communication. I don't know. That's just big for me. It could be a bias thing, and I have to check my bias at the door. I get it. I understand it. But I just feel like there's something about putting your eyes on the person who's going to be spending so much time with you or with your child every day. So that's just me. That's just something to tip. These things are not laws. These are just Marcus's tips. All right, number 6, PTA and SAC. I think we associate PTA and SAC, or mainly PTA, with like bake sale, fundraising type things. PTA is dope. Being a part of PTA is a really dope thing, especially as a man. I did not think PTA was all of that. Big shout out to Principal McBride, who pretty much signed me up to be on PTA, but I've still been rocking with it. I'm back for my PTA at Biscayne. I was gone for a little bit because I was doing a lot of PTA and SAC at Springfield Middle School, and now that Malia is at Reigns, doing more with the PTA there, trying to establish and see how that relationship is going to build now that she's a sophomore. So being a part of PTA, it just gives you a lot of insight with the school. It gives you a connection with a lot of other parents, and you just build community amongst your school. And the same with SAC. The difference between PTA and SAC, PTA does a lot with the students, a lot for the students, does a lot for the teachers. It's a lot of in the face. It's not just people walking around smiling, baking cookies and doing bake sales like that. No, these PTAs, they do some real deal things, really fundraising and helping the school out. SAC does a lot with budget. SAC does a lot with shared decision making for the school, another layer of accountability for the school. So I encourage, I beseech you to try to get involved with PTA and SAC. If you can't be an active member on it, pay your dues, sign up, and the money's going to go to good use. All right, running through 7, volunteer as much as you can. I know pre-COVID, post-COVID, we were shut the school down. Nobody was allowed to come in. But now most schools are encouraging parents to come in, to be involved, come volunteer, come get involved in your child's education, see what's going on at the school, but make sure that you are registered, because you can't just walk up in the school one day and be like, hey, I want to volunteer today. I want to go see my child teacher. Boom, pump the brakes. And because the way DCPS now has these security measures around these entrances, and it looks like, almost look like a bank teller when you go in, knocking on the window, you're not just walking up into these schools anymore. Those days are done. So you have to make sure that you are registered. And I'm talking from the lens of DCPS because all my girls are Duval County Public School students. I don't know the protocol, or I don't know how it works for charter schools, KIP, IDEA, private schools. I don't know how their protocols work, but I'm pretty sure you can't just walk up on their campuses either. I'm pretty sure they have a strict protocol about that, but they also would be glad to have volunteers as well. And the last one that I want to teach on is not teach on, but just talk about is trusting your teacher. Trust your child's teacher. We have teaching is a hard profession. Education is a hard profession. Um, the easy elephant in the room thing is that teachers are not paid enough. Doom, boom. I'm all for it. Anytime I see something that's talking about paying teachers more or what they're worth, I'm going to be on it. I'm voting for it. I'm here for it because teachers are the most scrutinized job, but the most least valued job. And it is crazy to me. Like, there's no room for error almost to be a teacher. Like, you can't do anything without being scrutinized as a teacher. And now the eyes on you, kids have these phones, and it's just so much. But I'm challenging my parents to put some trust in your teacher. Trust that your teacher is not there to get your child. Trust that your teacher is not intentionally trying to make your child fail. I know we probably have had some experiences with some other teachers, but we've had bad experiences with people at Walmart. We've had bad experiences with people at Target. Don't look at me like that. Yes, you probably had some bad experiences with people at Target. You've had bad customer experience with people at Starbucks. Wherever you go, you're going to have bad experiences with people. But I bet if I check your bank account, you haven't stopped going. Everybody ain't Chick-fil-A. Everybody not Chick-fil-A. So trust that your teacher is a professional. Trust that they have spent their life's work becoming who they are, be getting in this profession and becoming a teacher. And they're not trying to waste all of that off of one incident. So I'm asking you to trust your child's teacher, invest in your child's teacher, build that relationship with your child's teacher, support your child's teacher as much as possible. And these are things that just help your child out even the more as they're progressing through school. All right. So that's the first part of this, just giving you all some tips, some things to just help with the back to school transition. And the second part, which I'm going to try to liven it up a little bit, but I can't promise you because sometimes talking about government and talking about voting can sometimes be boring for people, but it is what it is. We're going to talk about voting. The state of America is an interesting place right now. That's just point blank serious. But voting is more important now than it ever has before. Voting is an important part of the type of democracy. I'm sorry, I'm tongue tied right now. Voting is an important part of the type of democracy government that we have. And so we can choose our leaders, our laws, different projects, and our rights as people based on using our power and using our privilege and our authority to vote. Yes, I know it seems like sometimes our votes don't always go our way, or even when we say things, they don't go our way. But I say those are just tactics to allow to make you to stop voting. They should what they should do is encourage you to vote more. And I'll say this: our local votes can be more detrimental than our national votes. What I say by this is don't get so caught up on what you see from our presidential election that it makes you not even pay attention to what's going on locally. Because some of these all of these local elections that we have coming up, they're the ones that are going to shape our day to day and how we move, live, and breathe throughout this great city that we love. I've been in Jacksonville for 40 years. I've seen so much come through Jacksonville. But right now, the political scene in Jacksonville is so heavy. And we have to make sure that we are using our strength and our power to say yes or to say no on certain things. So, what I'm going to talk about, we have, I don't know if anybody else received their ballot. Did y'all receive your ballot? Oh, if you on Spotify, if you're not watching the video, you don't see. I just put a picture of the ballot up here. So looking at our ballot, we're voting on our U.S. state senator. We're looking at our state senator District 5. We're looking at state representative District 14. We're looking at precinct committee woman. We're looking at circuit judge 4th judicial group 34. We're looking at county court judge group 9. These are some very serious decisions that need to be made. I'm not here to tell you who to vote for, but I am here to encourage you to do some research on every topic that I just talked about and vote. Now, the one that I am going to really, really, really encourage you to vote is the school board, because the school board election, if you live in certain districts, we have some very big school board elections coming up next week. We have 4 school board seats that are up for election coming next week. Now, you have to be careful because school board seats are now so much tied to who you know or what organization you may be with, not necessarily your values as a person. And that's a problem for me. I'm not going against anybody in here in this podcast, because this is not what this is about. This is not a bashing session. If anything, this is a provoking session. This is a session for me to provoke you to go out and do more research and find out who these people are. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through each district and tell you who the candidates are. If you live in District 1, first thing, I encourage you to know what district you are in. And you can easily go on coj.net. You can easily go on dcps.org to find out which district you are in. If you are in District 1, that is typically Ocean Way, Arlington. You have 2 people who are running for the seat, Dr. Nadine Ebry and Tony Ricardo. If you are in District 3, I believe District 3 is San Mateo ish area. No, nope. Pop that back. District 3 is San Pablo. Hmm. I'm sorry. I'm pausing because I'm having a brain fart right about now. District 3. I bring it back. District 3, you have Cindy Pearson and Becky Nathanson over in District 3. District 5, which is over Kings Road, it stretches a little bit of the west side. Springfield area, you have three. You have three candidates in District 5. You have Reggie Blunt, Nashawn Nix, Hank Rogers. In District 7, which I believe is Mandarin, you have Sarah Ann Manion and Melody Ann Bulldog. If I pronounced anybody's name wrong, I apologize. It's not intentional. So these are the candidates that we have. Point. Do not get caught up in the easy slander that you might see. Do not get caught up in the parody of the things. Do not get caught up because somebody says they're part of a certain organization. Don't get caught up because somebody says that they are endorsed by a certain person or a certain group. Get to know these people's character. Like, get to know what they really stand on. JPEF, acronym for the Jacksonville Public Education Fund, they held community forums for each one of these districts, and they were amazing. It allowed the candidates to come in and answer some questions that were based off of the questions from different organizations and even questions from the audience. Now, unfortunately, I believe for District 1, we only had Dr. Nadine Ebry came. For District 3, I believe only Cindy Pearson came. For District 5, we only had Nashawn Nix and Hank Rogers. And in District 7, we had both participants came. So I can't tell you what some people stand for because they weren't there and I'm not speaking for anybody. But I do encourage you to go back on JPEF's website, on their YouTube page, and look at those forums to get some more insight from those candidates. Again, I encourage you to vote because our children can't vote, but you can. That's another shameless plug from JPEF. If you've seen the billboards around the city, that's what they are. So that's what I wanted to share with everybody. So that's my action steps that I wanted to leave from this episode tonight. Take some time, focus on our kids for back to school, and get involved early and as often as possible. And if you're voting, vote. Do some research and do some voting. Again, I work with a group of parent leaders here in Jacksonville, and it's called Parents Who Lead. So one thing I want to end by saying this. My name is Marcus Smothers. I am a parent who lead, but I'm also a dope black dad. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you for your time. Please leave some comments. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Spotify. You can find me on YouTube. Wherever you find me, wherever you see me, just say what's up, what's happening. I appreciate you. Love you. Till next time. I'm out.